Best of r/Tales from Retail episode 33. I work retail in a store that sells pet supplies. Earlier today, I had a lady come through my line with a bag of puppy food and a bone. She wouldn't let me ring up the bone and asked if she could run out to show it to her son to see if it was okay for the dog. I looked at her blankly and responded, No, you can't just take things from the store. She rolled her eyes at me and said, but I'm buying the food. I'll just leave it here and come back for it with the bone. Somehow not understanding that you can't leave a store with unpaid for merchandise, I let her know, again, Mom, I can't let you do that. It's against store policy. Well, I just don't know if it's okay with him. I'll leave my food and be right back. And then she did it anyways. She did bring it back and made a show of showing it to me like, look at this, don't you feel silly? Like her bringing it back made it okay for her to take it after being told no in the first place. Lady, wherever you are, don't come back to my store. Thank you. Next. Daughter plays mom like a fiddle. Kind of a funny story. Kid wailing in line for about roughly 29 minutes. They finally get to my register and mom buys a couple of items and small 2-year-ish kid crying tears and all about wanting to buy Play-Doh. Mom tries to comfort her about Santa maybe bringing in a couple days for Christmas. Daughter wants to call daddy, and mom says okay, you need to calm down and stop crying before we call daddy. Daughter says okay. Calls daddy. Daughter calms down, FaceTime. Daughter, daddy. Mom says daughter wanted to call you. Dad, hi honey. Daughter, starts sobbing again, I want Play-Doh. I start laughing. Mom ends call. She played me like a fiddle. Me in sincerest voice possible. I am sorry but that was funny. Thank you. Next. This was at a generic liquor store. This happened recently on Christmas Eve and it is still running through my mind. I was sampling some spirits at a table right in front of the whiskey aisle. A customer who looked extremely flustered gives me eye contact from about 10 feet away and loudly yells, "You're all out of Blazing Ball whiskey." Now this is a high moving item so we keep the shelf full at all times. In addition to this, I could plainly see that the shelf had plenty of Blazing Ball whiskey. He was even pointing at it. It was the end of a long shift and I had very little patience for these customers of questionable intelligence. Before I could filter my words I simply said, "So I'm confused." Neither of us said anything for about 10 seconds. I stared at him with confusion. He stared back at me with the desperation of a man whose highlight of his life was this whiskey. I slowly walked over to the shelf he was right in front of and gently placed my hand on the whiskey that was, as I have said, immediately in front of his face. His glazed eyes made contact with his treasure, and he grabbed 2 large bottles without another word. What a world, folks. Thank you. Next. A few weeks ago I was working the head register and this lady comes up frantically asking if a purse had been found throughout the store. I haven't had anyone come up to the front to return something so I assume it's either in the store somewhere or it's been stolen. I tell her as much and she wants to speak to a manager because she wants to make the manager check the surveillance camera that is positioned right at the front of the store to see if she did anything with her purse. This request already is kind of insane because this is so out of the ordinary. Anyways, we call up the store manager and she spends the next 45 minutes looking at each person who walks in through the surveillance, while the lady waits at the register obviously pissed and impatient. I check over the radio to ask the manager if she's found the lady and she says yes. However, she didn't walk into the store with a purse, just 2 shopping bags that are from the strip of stores where we are. Another coworker who was listening asks if the lady maybe left it at one of the other stores. And the manager already asked her and apparently both stores she went to previously had the same problem. She didn't walk in with a purse. So we're all confused and kinda like WTF, so I tell her and she's so pissed and angry, screaming and yelling about how her purse is somewhere in the store but we just don't want to give it to her. So we ended up falling security and just had her escorted. I don't know how you mess up that bad. Thank you. Next. Another adventurous story in the world of retail. Didn't happen to me but happened to one of my co-workers. So basically a guy came into our store after Boxing Day and claimed that the sales consultant was cheating him because we were overcharging for a 3-year product protection for a PS for that he got on a deal with a TV for his son. My co-worker repeatedly told him that we can't just give away the product protection service and the guy said that, Not only was the sales consultant cheating him, but also our entire company was. He started to get extremely angry and then demanded to see our manager, our one IC, first in charge. Our manager came down and told the customer the exact same thing my co-worker had said. The man proceeded to shout loudly and use abusive language towards our manager, who remained extremely calm throughout the situation, and it got to the point where the manager asked him to either calm down or leave. Eventually the man calmed down and we were forced to give him the product protection for free. It just shows the right people for retail, as my manager and my co-worker both remained extremely calm the whole time throughout the constant abuse they were receiving. Thank you. Next. This is my first time posting, so I'm hoping everyone can understand this properly. So a little background. I work super part-time at a pretty big clothing retail store during my breaks, such as Christmas and summer. At a preschool I work at full-time. We are always having huge sales on all sorts of our clothes. So today we have an older lady come in with her husband and immediately starts being rude to all of the employees. First she starts with very aggressively, "Customer, so where is your 75% off stuff, because nothing is marked and your signs on the windows say 75% off everything in the store." Another employee, "I'm sorry, the sign is actually stating everything is up to 75% off the entire store, but everything will have signs everywhere showing what there is, and we have price checkers all over the store in case you need to confirm a price." Customer huffs and puffs, then storms off looking at our other products. I'm minding my own business recovering some sweats when I see this lady storm towards me with a sweater in her hand looking completely infuriated. Before I can even ask how she's doing, she snaps at me with, "Customer, so this sweater is signed 60% off, so how much would it be about? The sweater is full price on the tag, $49.99. My mind blanks anytime I am asked to do math on the spot, so I just immediately bring her to the price checker that was roughly like 5 feet away from us and scan it for her. Me, "Okay mom, it's going to be $19.99 after the 60% off." Customer stares at me in anger and confusion and visibly starts freaking out and is yelling at me now. Customer, "Well, you guys need to change that sign because that's not right. That should be $10, not $20. Me, "Well mom, I can show you the math at the register if you would like." And I start to walk over to the register mainly to breath a bit because she was so mad I half expected her to try and get in my face. Customer, "This is ridiculous, that's not the price IT should be," storms off. About 5 minutes pass and then she comes back, gets in my face and snaps with me again. Customer, "Yay, my bad, you were right." Basically yelling and waving her hands in my face, giving me the absolute worst glare ever and acting like she was waiting for me to snap at her or something. But I am too nice and shaken up by the situation to argue back at her at this point. Me, "It's fine, have a great day." I still don't understand what this lady's problem was. I found out later she snapped at several other employees much like she did with me. Between the constant "Why don't you have any more Christmas pajamas?" and the constant "Where are all of your fluffy socks?" which we did huge sales on both the past several months. By the end of my shift I was absolutely drained and exhausted. Thank you. Next. Everybody seems to be in a haze after the holiday season. They weren't bad, but they are now. So I work in a grocery store that is green and I'm typing this up on my break right now. On mobile, of course, sorry. Customer comes to my customer service /lottery/express line. To start, they have a bun from the bulk section of the bakery. Me, grabs the book to find the egg roll code. Ass wife, "It's an egg roll." Nice husband, he has to find the code for it. Transaction continues until I am bagging their stuff. Note, they had paid. I had put in 2 bags. We charge 4 bags, but it seems they needed 3. I'm just going to give them a third and not ask for the 5 cents. Ass wife, "Don't charge me for a third bag." Me, "I wasn't going to, but now I won't give you one." Ass wife, "I'm never coming back here." Nice husband, "Don't worry, she will." Ass wife, keeps ranting.